Wow, we have 23 participants already. Good morning, everyone. Did you know that feminine virtues is innate in all of us, irrespective of our gender? That's what we will be discovering today. Okay? As we say, the wonders of silence, only the lovers of silence know that the beauty of the soul is nourished in the cocoon of sweet solitude. Your Excellency, Mrs. K. Nandini Singla, High Commissioner of India, Mr. Fabiani Apavu, Development Coordination Officer, United Nations Resident Coordinator's Office, Sister Geeta, Spiritual Head of Brahma Kumaris, Sister Gayatri, Lead Coordinator of Brahma Kumaris, dearest participants on this Zoom session, as well as our dear friends watching us on YouTube Live, brothers and sisters of Brahma Kumaris, a warm welcome to you all. Thank you for gracing this special event, emerging our sacred feminine power in silence. Without much ado, let us embark on this meditative journey with Sister Gayatri, who is also at national level the chairperson of the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University Trust, which is the main executive body responsible for all the policies of the organization.
So right here, right now, let us detach our mind from all thoughts pertaining to the outer world. Right here, right now, let me gently go within, in the inner space of our inner universe. Just watch your thoughts. Be a detached observer. As you start observing your thoughts, you make out the difference between you, the inner being, and your thoughts. The more I'm detached, the more I can watch the quality of thoughts on the surface of my mind. As I watch, I see the space between the thoughts and behind the thoughts. That's pure silence. It is natural, inherent, eternal. In this space, unlimited space of silence, I think about me, the one who is generating this inner silence. And I come to the conclusion that I am a being of peace. So allow this virtue, this treasure of peace to pervade in my mind, in my heart, in my intellect, in my every single cell of this body, radiating out into the room and out into the universe. Yes, let me enjoy this natural state of silence. This is the backdrop of all our creation. As we say, in silence lies the highest source of insight and inspirations. Let us taste it. Still, silent, quiet, serene, and still. So still remaining in that space, that place, that stage of silence, I'm going to share a few words about setting the tone of our program. Let me tell you that this is something that is silence that has been coming to my mind again and again and again since the beginning of this year. So in January, in February, and in March, we had 3 special programs. The first program we did, it was public program. It was entitled The Beauty and Fragrance of Silence. The second one in February was The Light and Sound of Silence. And the third, here we are. In silence, we are going to work together to emerge our sacred feminine power. I'd like to read a quote for you, being given that we are all facing unprecedented situation collectively in the whole world. Everywhere we can see, we can feel the atmosphere of fear, anxiety, uncertainty, turmoil, turbulence. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, things grow. So together we are going to focus not on what's happening outside, not on the vibration, not on the atmosphere outside. We are going to focus on that inner, deep inner silence that we all have as our backdrop. Okay? So let me read the quote for you. It is a fact that in the right formation, the lifting power of many wings can achieve twice the distance of any bird alone. Okay? So we see everywhere the heavy atmosphere in the outer world. So we are going to meet together in this program, together, synergistically, we wish to create a mighty wave that's going to tilt the energy level of the world, shift the energy level on invaluable treasures that are lying deep, deep inside us. And the truth of it, that we have it all the time, eternally, naturally, because all of us tend to go towards all that is positive, that is divine, that is beautiful. If I were to ask you a question, would you prefer peace or war? Would you prefer happiness or sorrow? Would you prefer love or hate? I'm sure all of us aspire towards the purity, the divinity of our being. And that is a testimonial of our heart saying that we are, as spiritual beings, the repertoire we have deep inside a deep, unlimited, vast treasure of jewels, of nectar, whatever word you want to call it, of virtues. This is all the time within us. But because we are so much tuned to the outer world, we have lost touch with ourselves. And we have lost sight of those beautiful qualities, call it intrinsic qualities, innate qualities that all of us do have. And on the basis of which we develop the qualities, we develop the virtues that we need to manifest through this physical body. So you have already started, all of you already started warming up. You were given a lucky number, a flower, and a virtue. Yes? And you have been already started thinking about it, reflecting about it. And I'm sure by the overwhelming response that we had from the participants, that each one is eager, not only to know, not only to be aware, but to be able to experience and practice on a collective level. So how we are going to do it we, each and every one of us in our clusters, let us keep 4 keywords. First is awareness. Awareness in the mirror of silence, in the light of silence, enables us to be in touch with the intrinsic eternal qualities within us. So one word is awareness. Let us make an effort together, like we were giving the example of the birds' flight. We all know, we have seen the example of the birds, migratory birds. When they are on a long journey, they move in a V formation in a disciplined way. So we are going to try and bring ourselves to that discipline collectively to be able to focus, to concentrate on what's going on in our rooms and in this place, from the stage and the position of awareness that we are spiritual beings having these unlimited powers, treasures within us. So first is awareness. Deuxième, c'est identity of me being a spiritual being. Troisième, so how does this identity is manifesting? It is on the quality of the thought that we will be generating. So the more I attribute myself, I identify myself as a spiritual being, the more these qualities will surface on my mind. So awareness, identity, discovery of these qualities, and it will influence our thought, okay? So we say thought has tremendous energy, but we may be having negative thoughts. It is all related to awareness. Now, 3-4 words more. Premier donc, thought. Deuxième, as I think, so do I become. This is a famous adage. So if I'm thinking of peace, I'll be peaceful. I'll be propagating, spreading vibrations of peace. So the keyword is thought. The second is feeling. The third is vibration. Et quatrième, c'est atmosphere. And this is our endeavor, being together, create that current, mighty current that's going to fly over the whole human universe and see what drops and drops of water can create a lake or a mighty river. So let us see where it flows. So with these few words, I'm giving back the floor to Bhavna to proceed further.
Thank you, Sister Gayatri. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to invite Mr. Fabiani Ababu, Development Coordination Officer, United Nations Coordinator's Office, to share some words with us on this beautiful theme of sacred feminine power. Mr. Fabiani Ababu, greetings of peace.
So it's an immense pleasure for me to be with you this morning to celebrate and also awaken the secret feminine within each one of us in the context of an International Women's Day. Qualities such as unconditional love, compassion, wisdom, beauty, patience, accepting, forgiving, nurturing, and I could go on. Those what we very much need nowadays, especially during this pandemic year. So if you allow me, sisters and brothers, I would like to share with you the kind words of a proud feminist at the United Nations, which is the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres. So I will just be reading to you his message on the International Women's Day, which I think is nowadays and still today, on the 27th of March, still relevant. So I quote, The COVID-19 pandemic has erased decades of progress towards gender equality. From high job losses to exploding burdens of unpaid care, from disrupted schooling to an escalated crisis of domestic violence and exploitation, women's lives has been impeded and their rights eroded. Mothers, especially single mothers, have faced acute anxiety and adversity. The consequences will far outlast the pandemic, but women have also been at the front line of a pandemic response. They are the essential workers keeping people alive, holding economies, communities, and families together. They are among the leaders who have kept prevalence rates lower and countries on track for recovery. This year's International Women's Day highlights the transformative power of women's equals participation. We are seeing it ourselves at the United Nations, where I am proud that we have achieved gender parity in UN leadership posts for the first time in history. The evidence is clear. When women lead in government, we see bigger investment in social protection and greater inroads against poverty. When women are in parliament, countries adopt more stringent climate change policies. When women are at the peace table, agreements are more enduring. And with women now serving in equal numbers at the top leadership posts at the United Nations, we are seeing even more concerted action to secure peace, sustainable development, and human rights. As we recover from the pandemic, support and stimulus packages must target women and girls specifically through investment in women-owned businesses and the care economy. Pandemic recovery is our chance to leave behind generations of inclusion and inequality. It is time to build an equal future. This is the job for everyone and for everyone to benefit. I will just quote with you a paragraph from the contribution of the Brahma Kumaris at the ECOSOC last December, which kind of highlight this kind of like shared visions and shared values. I quote, "We need of our current time an enabling, collaborative, compassionate leadership. Now more than ever, it is time for women to be the visible agents of transformation. Accessing the power of Shakti opens an invisible door to a pathway of opportunity leading to the upliftment of all." Isn't that beautiful? So to conclude, let me thank, on behalf of the United Nations Resident Coordinator for Mauritius and Seychelles, the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University for its support to the principles of the UN Charter and also the UN values, and for your participation and contribution to the various UN-led initiatives, conferences, and communities. The UN is all about a participatory, collaborative, and empowering approach in finding solutions together to a world's problem, as highlighted by SDG 17, which is all about partnership. With the support and wisdom shared by the Brahma Kumaris since the 1980s, the UN has definitely become more empowered, and its initiative and actions more inclusive and centered around love, respect for ourselves, respect for others, and for Mother Nature. A special thanks to Sister Gayatri and to the Brahma Kumaris team in Mauritius for the work that you are doing. Let's continue to better the world through a collaborative and compassionate approach built on shared principles and values, and also on a shared vision and shared goals, placing people and the planet at the center. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Mr. Apavu. That was really deep and beautiful. As you rightly pointed out, Brahma Kumaris have been actively working with the United Nations. And the week before, On 18 March, Sister Pratibha Daya from South Africa was part of the delegation to the special United Nations Conference on Shakti Leadership. Now let's all watch out the message of Sister Pratibha Daya.
Om Shanti and greetings of peace to all my sisters in Mauritius. It is such a pleasure to be with all of you today in the special month of Women's Empowerment. The Brahma Kumaris team has been participating each year in the Commission on the Status of Women's Conferences that is held by the UN, offering a spiritual perspective to how we can address social issues from a spiritual perspective. As we can all agree that any sustainable outer change we wish to create in society has to be initiated with inner personal change, a change in consciousness. We are challenged now to hold a higher and broader vision, to act with strength, love, and courage, to trust the invisible spiritual fabric which ultimately defines our life. So in a growing climate of instability, it calls for an emergence of a power that is beyond gender, position, race, or economic privilege. It is an innate spiritual strength which is referred to as Shakti. This word Shakti is translated as power or life force, and connecting with Shakti helps to emerge love as a power which is needed now to influence the way we see, the motivation for our actions, and doing so to increase the ability to lead from a place of compassionate strength, both in personal and public spaces. So our focus this year has been on Shakti leadership, as we see it as the need of the hour. Our fragmented world needs a quality of leadership that can heal, nurture, and courageously lead us to a future where all are included and valued. Women have a significant role to play in the quality of this leadership. I do hope that this input offers you resources you can draw on for your own personal work, as I see you as a Shakti leader. Thank you, my greetings and best wishes.
You are all still with us, feeling the magic of vibes flowing. Come on, let us have some emoticon sharing on Zoom and some comments on YouTube. Interesting. Now grab a piece of paper and a pen and let us gear for an interesting self-discovery exercise with Sister Gayatri.
So we are about to discover something. I'll be asking you some questions and you jot down what's come to your mind. And at the end, you can share, not now, later at some time in your chat, how do you feel about it? So now go in silence. Imagine yourself sitting on the beach, solitary beach. You're alone, sitting under a tree, watching the waves, enjoying the silence. And suddenly, you start remembering flowers. Now, remember, try to imagine spontaneously, without too much thinking, which are the flowers? Choose 3 which appeal to you, which you appreciate. Any 3 flowers, note it in your paper. Okay? Shouldn't take much time, otherwise it defeats the purpose. So now the second question is, you put these 3 flowers in priority order. First, second, third. Which one you would place first? Which one second? Which one third? Why is it that you love or appreciate this one number 1, the other second, and the other third? Okay? Just reflect. Now, the discovery part. The first flower is what you think you are. The second is what people around you see in you. And the third is the one you are.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to announce our next guide on this journey. Sister Jayanti Kirpalani, European Director of Brahma Kumaris, who is exceptionally articulate about spiritual knowledge and practice. Let us hear her special message on the feminine qualities innate in all of us, irrespective of our gender, inspiring us to apply it to our lives.
Om Shanti, a greeting of peace to my sisters and brothers for this celebration of the United International Day for Women. And my greetings and salutations in particular to Her Excellency, the High Commissioner for India in Mauritius, Mrs. Nandini Singla. It's a wonderful opportunity to have you here with us to honor all women and in fact all people, because when women are honored, then of course our brothers, men, are not to be left out either. And today's special event is to be able to remember that we can actually allow and emerge the power of the feminine to take on practical shape through the power of silence. And when we talk about the feminine, we're not just talking about women, but people like Mahatma Gandhi, for example. He had that very special quality of compassion, of friendship, in which he reached out to people of all faiths as one family. And so we're talking about the emergence of the feminine principles, compassion and love and that inner power, which has been remembered as Shakti. When we think about Shakti, we also think about Shiva. And so Shiva, the Supreme, is the one who allows us to take that power, spiritual power, into ourselves. And this Shakti is what we need at the present moment. Because this inner power, this inner capacity that's developed through silence, through meditation, through the connection with the divine, is the one that allows us to deal with all the many problems of the world today. Perhaps the greatest power that's needed at the moment is the power of love, the power of truth, the power of compassion. And although these are not exclusive to women, as you heard, Mahatma Gandhi is an amazing example. Prajapita Brahma, whom we lovingly call Brahma Baba, the founder of our organization, also demonstrated love, compassion, and truth in an amazing way, so that he was able to empower a small group, and it was men and women, but the majority were women. And this small group of mostly women have now been able to serve the world. And so there are now centers from starting with a tiny little seed of just a small community. Centers now exist across the world in 120 countries. And so it's just an indication of how this spiritual power is able to bring about transformation within the self and transformation within the lives of others to create a better world for all, not just for women. World is men and women together. But when women awaken to this inner power and draw this power from God, then they become the Shaktis, the goddesses who are able to transform the world, finish all evil and bring about truth. But our brothers too can have access to this Shakti, and they have courage, they have power, but yet together with that inner Shakti being awoken in our brothers also, then they too can help create that better world in which there is love and happiness for all. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Today is also a very special day. 27 March 2020 to 27 March 2021. It's a year now that Brahma Kumari's previous administrative head, our beloved Dadi Janki, left us. Dadi Janki has had an invaluable role worldwide in spreading spirituality, touch the head and hearts of millions, and has left us a rich legacy of knowledge and wisdom for our spiritual upliftment. Inviting Sister Gayatri for a tribute to our beloved Dadi Janki.
In the wake of International Women's Day, I would say in my world, I've never seen someone in a woman's body having such tremendous power. The word Shakti definitely applies to Dadiji. Right now, this morning in India, we had the unveiling ceremony of a special monument to pay tribute to Dadi Janki. I wanted to share a few words about Dadi Janki. There was someone in the World Bank whom Dadi met, Alfredo Yunis. So he gave the preface of a book, Inside Out, which is based on Dadi's teachings, Inside Out. And you know what he said about Dadi? I have never seen a tiny lady with guts like a million elephants put together.
Electrician knows how to connect the wire to the right place to let the current flow. So that is a bit of an electrician. She knows how to join the wires together. The hearts and lives she's touched. This is the legacy. And just like people here in this room, we've all been touched by Dadi. And so I think that this is maybe the biggest legacy you can leave, touching people's lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Her Excellency, Mrs. K. Nandini Singla, High Commissioner of India, to share a few words. Your Excellency, Mrs. Nandini Singla, greetings of peace.
Namaste, good morning, bonjour à tous, Om Shanti. Listening to Sister Gayatri, Sister Jayanti, and other sisters and brothers this morning was like a grand festive meal for nourishing the soul. So I want to begin by saying a big thank you to all of you for this very special morning and for having me join you. Merci beaucoup. Well, I've been invited as the keynote speaker in my capacity as the Indian High Commissioner, given that India has always been seen as the land of spirituality. But I'm going to speak today also just as Nandini, a woman, because we're celebrating Women's Day, and as a human being who is also a fellow traveler on the spiritual journey. I hope that my own experiences of my journey so far will help create better vibes, because I see that is the template of our morning's event today. Emerging our sacred feminine power in silence. As Mr. Fabiani already said, this is not just the need for women, it's the need of all humanity today, men and women. Why? Well, we've heard other speakers in the morning say because these so-called feminine qualities, love, peace, compassion, joy, kindness, these are the basis of life. They are the life-giving qualities. And as Mahatma Gandhi once famously said, without love, there is no life. If we don't have these qualities, we will have a world where there is conflict, competition, war, and suffering. So emerging our sacred feminine power is something that every man, every woman, every human being needs to do for a better world, a more peaceful world, a more harmonious world. But going beyond that, we need to emerge these qualities, I think, for our own selfish good. Why do I say selfish good? Because I think every human being ultimately wants just one thing: happiness. Happiness, which includes peace, joy, positivity, but in a word, we call it happiness. And our quest for more money, more power, a better job, a bigger car is actually simply a quest for happiness. We're trying to get happiness through all these things. And so what happens? We become dependent on the outside world for our happiness. We become stressed when the outside world does not behave the way we want it to behave. When it is not according to our desires and plans, we become irritable, we become unhappy, and we make people around us unhappy. Spirituality, the power of the sacred feminine, the power of Shakti, teaches us one very simple thing, that this happiness that we're all searching for, through work, through family, through romantic relationships, through power, can only come from within us. The Shakti is inside us. It is the power of the soul. It is that sacred space that we call God, which is inside us. Getting in touch with this true soul power is getting in touch with God. It is what spirituality is all about. And it is the goal of all human beings, not just women, to discover this sacred feminine power, this soul power, this God within us. So, one reason why we need to do this: a better world, a happier world. Second reason, a better you, a happier you. But one more reason, in my own personal experience, because tapping into our sacred feminine power, our soul power, is really the only real power the only authentic power that we as human beings can experience. I remember when I was a child, looking at rich people, people in important positions, and often they looked stressed, worried, tense. And that tension is infectious. You are in their company and you feel that vibe of anxiety, of stress, because they want things to go a certain way. When they don't go a certain way, they're not very happy, and that unhappiness transmits. And I saw people, simple people, who seemed to be in equilibrium, who seemed to be cheerful, no matter what was happening around them. No matter if a person was rude, no matter if the car broke down on the way to an important meeting, no matter they have a health issue, there's a certain thermostat of happiness, equilibrium, well-being, stability, centeredness. And I used to think, I want to be like this person who's always stable no matter what happens around him or her. And I thought, this is real power. And today, when I hear Brahma Kumaris, when I see the book that we have received as a token called A Return to Self-Sovereignty, I realize this is exactly what it is, to be self-sovereign. That is to be a master of one's own thoughts, feelings, emotions, independent of what is happening outside, is true power. It's true sovereignty. So the question is, how do we discover the sacred feminine power within us so that we keep the keys to our happiness only in our hands, so that we don't give away this power to anybody? How I feel should be in my control, regardless of how you behave or how situations around me turn out. This, I think, in a simple word, is the spiritual path. I was just looking at the beautiful video of Dadi Janki, and I remember reading somewhere that I think it was Texas University which did some research and called hers as the most stable mind in the world. Even when she was giving a talk, even when she was cooking, even when she was reading, apparently her brain registered only happy delta waves. I believe all of us can endeavor to become Dadi Janki. Maybe not all of us will reach her level, but our souls can empower themselves, can become more powerful. Since we're talking about silence, I want to end by saying that silence is revered in Indian spirituality as the most powerful thing. It is the place into which everything dissolves and from which everything is created. It is Shiva. Shiva literally means no thing, nothingness. It's that powerful space from which everything is created, from where all knowledge emanates. Let us all tap into this power of stillness, of silence, and rediscover our feminine power, our soul power. And sisters and brothers, one last thing I want to say is that this is a journey that we are walking on. It's not the destination that is important, it's the journey itself. Because I have myself found that there are many times when I lapse into old behavior patterns, old ways of thinking. I get irritated or angry or react rather than respond. But the frequency of those I find diminishes if we stay the path, if we remain conscious and self-aware. Because what we're talking here is about developing self-awareness, a higher consciousness. It's simply removing the layer of ignorance and realizing that we are love, we are kindness, we are peace, we are joy, we are compassion. That's the true nature of the soul, like other speakers have said. So let's not give up. Let's walk this path to become Shakti, each one of us. Because remember, each Shakti has a multiplier effect. We radiate these vibrations of kindness, of positivity, of goodness. And that is the only way the world will change. That's the only way we will make the world a better place.
Wonderful. There's no word to describe your intervention. I would say you're not only ambassador of India, but you're ambassador of God. Wonderful. Your life is a real testimonial to your authenticity and the work you have been doing inside yourself and spreading vibes. As we were talking about the fragrance of flowers as the virtues attributed to soul. So I would say all our fragrance put together brings into reality a double aroma therapy. You have come at a time when you have brought somewhere, somehow, the vaccine, double vaccine. So,
A natural mind is peaceful, and a peaceful mind brings clarity. Let us now embark on this meditative journey of virtues. We would encourage you to note the virtue allocated to you and your team, as this will be important to the upcoming group discussion.
Truth. Truth is a deep kindness that teaches you to be content in your everyday life, whilst sharing the same happiness with everyone. The light of truth is always present in all of you. Don't let it be dimmed. Wisdom. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It's your ability to use your knowledge and experience for good decisions and judgments. Intuition. Intuition is the whisper to the soul. Intuition is the little quiet voice within each of us that guides us every step along the way and speaks loudly when we listen to. Compassion. A compassionate person develops an eye for spotting the qualities that make each person special, even if others are at their lowest. It is possible to help them restore their self-belief by keeping a firm, clear vision of their goodness and specialties, taking a gently encouraging approach. You must never give up on anyone. Resilience. You experience, you feel, you fail, you hurt, you fall, but keep going. Like tiny seeds with potent powers to push through tough ground and become mighty trees. You hold innate resources of unimaginable strength. You are resilient. Love. Love is the principle which creates and sustains all your relationships, giving them dignity and depth. Love is the bedrock for the belief in equality of spirit. Love combined with faith creates a strong foundation for initiative and action. Spiritual love takes you into silence, and that silence has the power to unite, guide, and free people. Connectivity. We are all connected and part of one universal mind. in one sea of energy. Stars, space, planets, animals, people, and everything around us are connected to each other. Science tells us that we are all part of a unified field. All minds are connected into a sort of mind field. So you are bigger and more powerful than you think you are. Courage. Real courage lies in acknowledging and accepting your own weaknesses without guilt, whilst taking the responsibility for changing them. Courage is fundamental, as without courage you can't practice any other virtue consistently. Empowerment. Inside us lies the potential to be great. Everyone can touch and influence others positively in their own way. Our inner strength brings external power, the ability to bring thoughts into action. This power is never rough nor dominating. It is gentle and firm and does not trample over the feelings of others. Silence. In silence, we find the ability to listen to ourselves, to others, and to God. Without learning how to listen to others, we cannot communicate. We cannot relate to each other to live life in a meaningful way. Faith. True faith is not a leap into the dark, but a leap into light. Unseen but felt, faith is strength when we feel we have none. Faith is hope when all seems lost. When we experience this elevated consciousness referred as self-realization, we develop faith in the self and a feeling of wholeness and completeness within. Respect. When you are content to be simply yourself and do not compare or compete, everybody will respect you. To know one's worth and to honor the worth of others is the true way to earn respect. Respect is an acknowledgement of the inherent worth and innate rights of the individual and the collective. These must be recognized as the central focus to draw from people a commitment to a higher purpose in life. Patience. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Patience is not passive. On the contrary, it's concentrated strength. Humility. Humility is based on an understanding that everything we have from the bodies we are born into to our most prized possessions is inherited, and that as human beings we are all subject to the same natural and spiritual laws. Responsibility. The world is a stage and you are all actors. Each actor plays a unique role and is responsible for his own actions. Responsibility is doing the right thing, no matter how big or small the task may be. Each one of us has a special role to play in making the world a better place. Your life begins to change the day you take responsibility for it. Stability. The universe will always revolve and evolve. The only true stability results from continuous adjustment and movement with the flow. The highest art of humanity is to constantly adjust and compensate, always motivated from the highest and most conscious values, and to move with fluidity amongst the great and powerful forces of nature. Cooperation. Cooperation is based on faith, love, and trust. It's a power that comes when there's love for both the task and the special part each plays in bringing it to completion. Real cooperation takes place when there are good wishes and pure feelings for each other, with the conviction that nobody can get there unless everybody gets there. Kindness. Kindness is the sunshine in which virtue grows. Great souls take advantage of every moment and every opportunity to give happiness to others through kindness in their thoughts. Such souls are willing to overlook weaknesses and mistakes and have the desire to help everyone reach their potential. Tolerance. Tolerance is your ability to remain internally unaffected when situation or people are not aligned to your perspective. It's the ability of your heart to value relationship and peace more than people's weaknesses. It involves extending openness and acceptance and internally resolving any conflict with the right understanding. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the fragrance that is the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. It's all about offering compassion, love, affection, good wishes, pure feelings towards self and others. It's also about letting go of the past and focus on the now. When you gain the power to forgive, you give yourself wings of peace.
Wow, that was deep. We now have reached the much awaited group discussion. As you are aware, you will be regrouped in teams according to the virtues you have been working on. You will soon receive a note on your screen to join rooms. Please click on it. Once in the room, please introduce yourself by the name of the flower you experience in the personal reflection exercise, followed by your name. We invite you to contemplate on the virtue attributed to your team. As you can see on the screen, these are the easy guidelines for the breakout room, and we look forward to your creative sharing. For all those who are watching us on YouTube and those in the chat, we encourage you to encourage the same exercise and share your findings in the chat section. See you in 15 minutes. Breakout rooms open now. For those in the lobby right now, I invite you to send your comments in the chat section. Same for those on YouTube Live. We can interact from there. Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Technical team, everyone is back.
Thank you all.
I'm sure it was a great, unique, rich experience for you all in the breakout rooms. How time flies. I think you will all realize by now we are running a little bit late on the schedule. So we encourage you all to share your sharings to us by WhatsApp or by mail. And given the time pressure that we have a little bit right now, we'll just pick and choose a few teams for the sharing, but big respect to you all for all the time taken in the breakout rooms for the sharings and coming up with something great and creative. Welcome back, Sister Nandini.
Thank you. We had a very interesting discussion. We decided and agreed that truth is constant, stable. A lie runs a sprint race, but a truth runs a marathon. And we felt that truth was at three different levels. One is being true to yourself, as Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. And the second is being true to yourself in the outside world. As Mahatma Gandhi said, even if you're in a minority of one, speak your truth, because truth is more powerful than any weapon of mass destruction. These are Mahatma Gandhi's words, and I'm quoting him. And at the third level, the ability to see the truth of the universe, that is, seeing people as more than their bodies, their minds, their names, seeing the truth that we are all souls on a journey rather than a reflection of us. So, keeping our peace, our stability, our joy by remaining truthful at all times.
Om Shanti. For me, love is everything. In fact, once I wake up in the morning, I breathe like love is breath, right? We need to breathe that love. We need to feel that love inside yourself. Okay, we breathe love. My statement, everyday statement is like, I see love, I breathe love, and I feel that love. If we don't feel that love inside yourself, we won't be able to share that love to everybody, right? Love is everything. Love is non-judgmental. We need to accept everyone as they are. Love for me is the essence of life, right? We need love. Everybody needs love, but we need to emanate that love from inside us. We project that love and we shall receive that love. And love is everything. Love is nature, is human being, is creation itself, is love. So love for me is each breath we need to take love inside and exhale that hatred that we may have. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Sister Lata for facilitating the group, and we all discussed and we also felt and experienced a manifestation of faith during our session. And what we all discussed, I would like to express in front, that faith is inside of us. We have to train and work on it. And faith is our trust, as we mentioned. And also, we have to surrender and connect more and increase our sadhana. Connect to God, and faith in God is unshakable. And when we have that unshakable faith in God, we connect to Him, we surrender to Him, definitely we'll have His blessings, His grace.
I'm going to present on behalf of Team 15, and our virtue for today is responsibility. So we came up with a slogan which says, if we realize our responsibility, we realize our destiny. So for us, responsibility is awareness and acceptance of duty, that is the law of karma, and also the consequences of our actions. It is a sign of maturity and wisdom and learning to practice what we preach. We all need to embrace responsibility, and it is the duty of everyone, not only one person, especially in the face of this pandemic where we are called upon to respect sanitary measures, the wearing of masks, etc. And when we surrender our responsibility to God, we succeed. We need to be more alert in our actions, and also this is how we can achieve responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for the sharing. Sadly, time is running. We could not hear from all the 20 teams, but we'll make a compilation of all and be sharing back to the whole participants. As you know, art is a soul expression. The desire to create is a natural expression of soul. Spiritually, I can paint my life with the color and beauty of joy. I can sing a melody of kindness and peace. I can dance my mind to create a golden future. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome you all to watch this blissful performance of Shiv Shakti, goddess of power and divine energy, by Sister Subhashini.
Woman of wisdom, woman of power, woman of strength, woman of grace, lioness of courage, she who spins and weaves and cuts the way, she who occupies sacred space, she who spins and weaves and cuts the way, she who occupies sacred space. Stand up, Shiv Shakti, take your stage. Stand up, Shiv Shakti, calm the rage. Stand up, Shiv Shakti, turn the page.
As we are reaching the end of this splendid event, let's welcome back Sister Gayatri for the tokens to our distinguished guests.
I would say that it's a very nice ending. We have been gathering lots and lots of flowers. A flower, even if it grows in a dirty place, our attention still goes to the flower. So God, the gardener, must be very happy today, seeing a handful of flowers in this tiny island, tiny dot in the star and the key of the Indian Ocean, little tiny Mauritius. So I'll end with 3 words connecting to flower. As flowers, children of God, 3 things that we keep in mind from now on, all of us, whoever have been present. There are 3 things in flower which are distinguished: form, color, and fragrance. So we derive the fragrance by being aware that we are spiritual beings. Already inside us lies all the ingredients of beauty that we unfold through our body. And when we unfold it, this is where we say it has taken its shape, form. So the contour of our face, the expression, the quality of actions reveal the shape. And now the color, which should have been first, I would say. We say company colors. God is truth. When we keep the company of truth, so we get his color and we get aligned with natural laws, where then by practicing it, we can make the world as it was in the beginning. God created this world perfect, and now it's our turn to help him with whatever quality we discover within ourselves to bring that qualities, to bring the world to a better place, like Sister Nandini outlined. And thanks again for our chief guest. It's a pleasure for me to present this token for your active participation, dear Divine Sister Nandini. Here is Story of Immortality.
Thank you so much. I have received it, as you can see.
Thank you. Oh, so I travel so fast.
Yes, and it's instant. It's
Nice.
telepathic. Thank you.
Now a gift for our brother, dear brother Fabian.
Thank you very much. So well received, and I'm really touched by the words of in the gift. It's really kind of like transcend one. So thank you very much.
We would love to invite Sister Chenta for a few words.
Thank you, Sister Bhavna. My dear brothers and sisters, Om Shanti. Greetings of peace and love to all of you. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me today to present the vote of thanks on this special event, the theme of which is Emerging Our Sacred Feminine Power in Silence, organized in the context of the International Women's Day. At the very outset, allow me to convey our deepest and heartiest thanks to our Supreme Father, the Almighty Authority, God, for his tremendous help and blessings for making this program happen. We hope that you must all have sensed the wealth of spiritual treasures, the virtues and powers hidden in all of us. If we were to harness these, there is absolutely nothing that can prevent us from meeting the challenges that we are facing today, and also in making this world a better place to live in. You will all agree with me that even in the most challenging times, we humans have the capabilities to pick peace over war. We have the power to be a new normal, and we have the strength to rebuild. I thank you all once again. Our good wishes and pure feelings are always with you. Take good care of yourselves, stay safe and healthy. Om Shanti.
Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's event. We sincerely hope from the bottom of our heart that it was a fruitful one and that you have experienced the magical journey of vibes. And the journey continues, isn't it? Till then, keep sharing all your good vibes and keep sending your good vibes to the community, as your vibes matter. Thank you all, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends watching us on YouTube Live, our dear technical team, and everyone else who participated, and definitely Sister Gayatri. We cannot close any session without 1 minute of silence.